I change clothes like my hoes. I love designer, and I change my flows like who knows. I want the commas, many Hondas.
Since the dawn of video games, the fighting game genre has easily risen to the forefront of the gaming space. Not only could you play as your most favorite and loved characters from either your favorite TV show or comic, you could now pitch yourself head to head against other people's in tournament style, multiplayer, 1v1 or 2v2 combat. This added a sick and exciting twist to gaming that we've never had seen before, with big names such as Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat really making a splash in the gaming scene. But I'm not even here to talk about all of that. Honestly, I'm just here to talk about my new favorite game that's really making a splash for me, which is Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Boruto X Naruto Cross Generations. I'm sorry, that game name is a mouthful, so from now on we'll just be referring to it as NUNS or NUNS Connections. Speaking of tournaments, in these tournaments that were maybe online, there used to tend to be a blacklist of characters which weren't allowed in tournaments because they were too overpowered or OP in this sense, in the fact that their skills or their moveset just made them too out of balance with other characters, making them have a great advantage where other characters would be disadvantaged in the battle. Therefore, these characters won't be allowed in multiplayer or online settings because it makes it unfair to other human beings. It's different when you're battling an NPC. It's okay if they're underpowered or overpowered because that's the whole point of the game. But when you're fighting online, you want things to be as balanced and equal as possible to have a most balanced or equal outcome, so everyone has a fighting shot. Now, that being said, let's go over the most cheesiest characters in this new NUNS game, and stick around to the end, like and subscribe, because that fourth character is really going to be the one that inspired me to make this video. But we're going to go through 4 characters that I believe are really cheesy and need to be nerfed in some way, as well as an honorable mention from the last game that I feel like they somewhat nerfed, but not really. So let's get into it, guys. First, I need to explain some nuances or changes that they made to the game that actually made it a lot easier to cheese. So the first thing would be that combos can easily be stringed now. Like, let's say you hit someone down, you can continue that combo before they hit the ground. Like, they can fall off the ground, and in a sense, they bounce off the ground, so you can continue to string that combo. This allows for characters with even the worst movesets to string a combo of 50 to 60 hits, which was damn near unheard of in the older versions of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Another interesting thing that they added, which makes a lot of characters cheese, well, not too cheese, but makes them a lot more different and harder to battle, is some jutsu are now like blocks. Some jutsu are now like throws, whereas you cannot block them, so you have to dodge them. Namely, Kakashi with his 2 Sharingan, he has Kamui where you can't block it, so you have to dodge it. And it's also a cross-map attack, which we'll get into later. They've added a lot of cross-map attacks that really made some of these characters need to be nerfed, because everyone shouldn't just be able to travel across the map. Like, in the older iterations of the game, it was very rare you had a cross-map attack and you either were going to use a lot of chakra on that, or just some conditions had to be met to be able to do that attack. Maybe you had an awakening to be able to move across the map. But now a lot of characters can kind of just do cross-the-map things that makes them very OP. For example, Toby in the Akatsuki, basically Obito in his Akatsuki version, he had a cross-map attack where he would go on the ground and, you know, put down some minefields, but it only worked very well in team style battles where he was support, because in a regular jutsu he crawls off the ground really slowly, so in a single battle he'd get his ass kicked trying to do that jutsu, and it was rather slow. So there were some checks and balances in place to not allow characters to just be so OP. But let's get into it, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. For the sake of keeping this video concise, I will include Indra and Asura Atsuki together. Now, these 2 brothers are the new add-ons from the game. They're essentially what makes the game new, because to be honest, most of the characters are pretty old from the last versions of the game. But Indra and Asura are brand new. They are the sons of the Sage of the 6 Paths, and they're pretty fire. They have some good movesets, as well as good range attacks and good defensive jutsu as well. So Indra isn't as OP as Asura, and let me get into why. Indra has good defense with his Amaterasu that basically pulses twice and explodes. Then he has a lightning arrow attack, which is very hard to dodge. You are better off blocking it, because if you try to move and one of your characters are kind of slow, you will get hit, because it kind of moves in a strange pattern. But other than that, he's not too OP. He has a Susanoo for an awakening. But I will say this about these 2 characters: they are great learning beginner characters. Not too OP, but great skill sets, great fighting moves, so like anyone should be able to get good with them and be able to go online and be a competent player. Now let's talk about Indra, Asura, and why he's actually a little bit more OP than his brother. His range jutsu, the Ultra Hurricane Barrage, is very overpowered because in one attack, if it does land, it explodes into this bunch of hurricanes which attack you 5 to 10 times. I don't really know, I can't really count it. However, let's just say you cannot block this twice in the game without letting your guard break. That's another interesting feature that they added in this new NUNS iteration. Basically, you cannot guard for too long. Like in the last game, it was very hard to break someone's guard. In this game, guard breaks are basically a part of the game. Everyone's guard gets broken very easily. That being said, you need to move or sub. You cannot guard for too long. But this makes Asura very dangerous because if you get hit with that Ultra Hurricane Barrage, your guard will break. You can only get hit about twice, so it's very hard to defeat him. As well as dashing him while he does his Hurricane Twist. Remember what I said about combos breaking? That jutsu is one of the jutsus that break combos. So let's just say you're fighting him, right, and you're hitting him. If you dash him, that attack will break your dash and then you'll get hit. So it's kind of hard to explain, but as we get into other characters, you'll kind of see what I mean. The third character on our list would be Madara Uchiha, his Edo Tensei version. Now, I love this character myself. I actually use him a lot, even though he's a little bit challenging to use, but I just got used to using him. And what really makes his character OP is his one jutsu, Susanoo Pierce attack. Now that jutsu is so good because it acts as a defensive and offensive attack in one, and it's very long range. Madara's attacks are already super long range, but his Susanoo Pierce literally hits you. It's almost like a two-hitter, takes out so much damage, and with that you can string it into a combo, and it also protects you. So if I do a Susanoo Pierce when someone shoots, let's say either a fireball jutsu or whatever the case is, most attacks get canceled out by Susanoo, which is pretty realistic because Susanoo was like the ultimate defense, even better than Gaara Sand. So that made him OP, and it's just kind of hard to dash him when he has that Susanoo shield up. So it blocks you, then it hits you. It's very OP. I've seen a lot of guys online really get after it with Susanoo using Madara Uchiha, his Edo Tensei version. But I hope you like this video so far, guys. If you do like it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what else you want me to make as far as content on NUNS games, because I'm really enjoying this game. And if you truly love gaming, I have Elden Ring content as well as Wolong Fallen Dynasty content with some older NUNS content. So I'll link them throughout the video as well as in the description and the end screen. So check them out, guys. But now we're gonna get into the creme de la creme, the most OP or cheesiest character in fighting game history, because honestly, this guy he just needs to be taken out the game, honestly. Minato Namikaze. I've seen the Reddits. There's literally like a whole subreddit group of people dedicated to hating Minato and the guys that spam Minato. But here's why he's super OP, guys. So remember what I said about combo blocking? There are a lot of like dash jutsu that will break your dash in this sense. Like, let me explain. Let's say I was dashing at you and I sent a Rasengan. The Rasengan would cancel out the dash. In the old games, if you dash fast enough, you would beat someone before they got their Rasengan out, and then you continue your combo. But in the new game, no matter what, if you dash and I Rasengan, I will break your dash and hit you with Rasengan. So Minato has that as one of his attacks. He has a good old-fashioned generic Rasengan, which would break any dash. And then on top of that, he has the most OP move in the whole game. He has a cross-map planetary heavenly Rasengan. Literally, he comes above you and he Rasengans you into the ground. You've seen it in the shows. He did it to Obito when he was the masked man. So he does that, but now before, in the last version of the game, you had to charge that attack. You had to charge it, took out a lot of chakra, you couldn't do it often. In this game, you don't have to charge it. You literally just press 2 buttons and you do it as much as you want. And obviously, again, another nuance in the game that changed this, that made it worse, was chakra replenishes automatically. So your chakra comes back pretty quick, meaning you can do this about 2 or 3 times before you run out of chakra, and you can easily just charge again and continue to do it. So we've seen a lot of Minato spammers that just get online and just spam Minato because anyone can be good with him. It's so hard to dodge and it's so hard to block, because the way the movement system works in NUNS is it moves for you automatically, but whenever a character gets above you, it's literally impossible because your movement is based on the relativity of where the other characters are. So if I'm moving left, I'm moving to the right of the other character. If I'm moving to the right, it's because I'm moving to the left of the other character. Like, you're always trying to move. You're basically mirroring your enemy. But when the enemy is above you, you just move in a circle because the enemy is above you. It's so weird and so hard to explain, but it makes it very hard to dodge. And honestly, and this is what also makes it OP, is it's a lot like Asura's ultimate hurricane barrage, which is basically, it's hard to block. You can only block it about twice before your guard is gonna break. That makes Minato one of the most OP characters. If you want to get online and win some battles, use Minato. However, everyone will hate you for using Minato. Now that being said, it doesn't mean you can't lose with Minato. Like, people are good enough, and I think everyone is starting to gain some skill in the game, whereas like people aren't too worried about Minato when you run into him online. But that being said, that doesn't change the fact that he's OP and he needs to be nerfed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Some of my most favorite characters, notably mentioned that didn't make this video, that were somewhat OP to me, were Sarada Uchiha with her lightning flicker technique. That attack is very powerful, guys. You guys should try it out. As well as Sasuke Uchiha with his Inferno style Susanoo flame control. They nerfed it a bit in this game, but in the last game, that was, if you knew how to use him, one of my roommates was really good at using him, and he really used to annoy me with him. Even though it was an ultimate attack, it was just so OP. The way he would line it up, it was very hard to beat him with that character. But this is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you watch and check out my other content. And before you go, remember to, as always, find your zen, your final form. I'll catch you in the next one, guys.
And I change clothes like my hoes. I love designer, and I change my flows like who knows. I want the commas, many honors.